Now, my question to you for middle school, I'm sorry, for high school, the area that you lived in, your section of West Philly, what would be the neighborhood school that you would go to?
My neighborhood school would have been Bartram.
Bartram, which is in Southwest Philly.
Yes.
So West Philly kids go to Bartram in Southwest?
So the block that I lived on
Right.
Was the dividing line. If you lived on the north side of the street, you went to Hamilton, Sayre, West.
Okay.
If you lived on the south side of the street, you went to Harrity, Turner, Bartram.
Where did you go?
I went for high school.
Yes.
I went to Bodine.
So you went to neither. So what is Bodine? What is Bodine?
Bodine High School for International Affairs.
Okay.
It is a magnet school.
What's that? What's a magnet school?
A school where you have to apply and
so you have to apply. You can't just go to Bodine.
No, you had to apply.
Okay.
So I went. That's where I went.
Okay. So did you apply to any other schools?
I did engineering and science, girls high.
Okay. Which one did you want to go to?
I wanted to go to Bodine.
Oh, you wanted to go to
Bodine?
One
of my friends was going there.
Okay.
So I wanted to go. Little.
So did you get accepted by the other schools too?
I did.
Oh, so you had the choice. You had the option.
I had the option.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your parents gave you the option. They didn't tell you where you were going.
No.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how was Bodine? How was that experience?
Well, my friend didn't go.
She didn't go. Oh, she got accepted, but she didn't go?
She got accepted, but she didn't go.
So where did your friend go?
My friend was like MIA the whole last month of
8th grade?
8th grade, yeah. So
wait, where did she wind up going?
she had to go live with her dad.
Oh,
she moved to
okay.
Maryland to live with her dad.
Wow.
So,
wow.
She didn't go there.
Okay. Wow. So isn't that crazy how kids make decisions based on right.
Yeah, and then I get there and she's not there.
She's not even there. So you're at Bodine by yourself.
Yeah, well, with some people from my middle school that went there.
So you knew a couple people?
I knew a couple people.
Okay. Now, where is Bodine?
It is in North Philly.
It's in North Philly?
Yes, 4th and George, which is like off of 4th and Gerard.
Which is a completely different neighborhood than where you're from.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. How was your high school experience?
High school was cool. I was quiet.
Right.
Quiet girl.
Okay. You had no problems in North Philly?
9th grade. Got my chain snatched, right?
Really?
So, I always had like jewelry, like herringbones,
okay,
links. My parents, my dad was like really into, back then the gold. So I always had all the figure eights, all the bamboos, all the earrings with your name and like all that stuff.
Oh wow!
So
okay.
I had on.
You was a fly girl back in the day.
I'm not going to say I was a fly girl, but I always had
top of the line stuff.
Yeah, everything.
Got it. Okay.
So I had on. I never forget this day. We're walking down the street. We should have got on the 57 bus that stopped directly in front of the school.
Okay.
But we decided to walk to the L, which was 4 blocks away.
What's the L?
The elevated train, like the subway.
Okay, got it.
And I didn't care. Like, I was never scared to walk to the L because my brother was like a SEPTA cop, right? So I knew that he would be there.
Okay.
Like, I would see my brother.
Right.
So I'd be cool. I didn't care.
Yeah, because if you're from Philly back around those times, you hear a lot of horror stories that happen at the L.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Right.
And I had on, so this was like towards the end of the era of the figure eights, but I had some big figure eights and bone on, thick bone.
Okay.
And it was these guys, they were like riding down the street in the car. We were like, oh, why those guys riding down the street looking at us in that old raggedy car,
Right.
Next thing you know,
they hopped out on y'all.
Out the damn car and took snatched the earrings, snatched the chain. And I was so happy, I was wearing a chain prior to that was a solid block, and I was so happy I didn't have that on, because if they had tried to snatch it, they would have took my head off.
Okay, got
literally,
it.
because it wouldn't have popped.
So was it just you or the other girls you were with?
It was me and 2 other girls, 2 or 3 other girls. Yeah.
And they only took your earrings?
I think I was the only one that had them on.
Okay, got it. Got it. So they targeted you. Wow.
And yeah.
So that was your only issue in 9th grade. So I know your dad was livid and your brother.
Okay, so my dad came to the school, right?
So this happened in the morning on the way to school.
This happened on the way home from school.
Oh, on the way home from school. Okay.
This is so crazy because I got in a car with somebody I didn't even know. Like, it was an adult that I didn't know.
Okay.
But they saw it happen, and it was like, you know, let me take you home. It was like an old lady. Like, let me take you home, or let me take you, like, where do you need to go? Like, you don't need to be walking.
Right.
And I was like, I just need to go back to school. And I got in the car with her, which was a big no-no, right? But it was safe, so I'm here now, right?
Okay, right.
And she took me back to the school, and I like,
so she actually looked out for you.
Yeah.
Shout out to that lady if she
I know,
ever
right?
sees
Wherever
this.
she is, she was like 80 then, so I'm pretty sure she won't. But I went back to the school, and you know, they called the police, and the police came. And, yeah.
Okay, but did you remember like what type of car it was, whatever? Blah, blah. Were you able to give them any information?
A little bit. And I had to go to the police station with my dad. We had to go to court afterwards, like all that type of stuff.
Now,
like that.
Random question. Do you consider that snitching? If you get your earring snatched by some dude and you recognize him and you know who he is, do you personally, because like when you grow up in the hood, there's a whole stop snitching thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or don't snitch. Do you consider that snitching, telling your dad and your brother who snatched your earrings?
So, you know what? I'm going to say this, right? Yes and no.
Okay.
Right? Because we went to court and I said the guy didn't do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw it? Wait, you went to court?
We went to court. They picked somebody up and we went to court.
Was it the guy?
I don't know.
Okay.
So I was like, I really didn't see him.
Okay.
Like, I really didn't see him, so he didn't do it. Like, you get what I'm saying? Whoever
Right.
y'all have, like, he didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was one thing in high school that was interesting. Describe some of your other high school experiences.
I don't know. Like, high school was just high school.
Did you have a boyfriend? Did you have multiple boyfriends? Did you have no boyfriend? Did you have a guy you called your boyfriend but he wasn't?
Well, I mean, yeah, like I had boyfriends all through high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say any of them that were memorable, or were they all jerks?
No, they were never jerks.
Okay, cool.
But I had one.
They all went to your school?
No.
Okay.
No. I had one that was a little more serious toward like 11th, 12th grade.
Okay.
That was, you know, your first love type of thing.
Was he an older guy or was he your age?
Oh, he was my age.
He was your age? He
Yeah.
went to your school?
No, he went to another school. He went to our neighborhood high school.
Oh, so he was from your hood
was
and
from
you
the
just
hood.
knew him. Okay,
Yes.
got it. Interesting. How was it academically?
Strenuous. So,
Really?
yeah. One thing I loved about that school is that it was cool to be a nerd.
Right.
So,
Because probably everybody there was considered nerds.
everybody was smart, right?
Right.
I graduated from high school with, my GPA wasn't like extremely high. It's like 3.2.
Okay.
And I was like 79th in my class.
Right. Oh, wow.
Out of 118.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
everybody was.
Got you.
You know, it was nothing.
In another school, you would have been in the top 10.
In the top 10, exactly.
Right.
But, yeah. I mean.
What year did you graduate?
98.
1998.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you work in high school?
No.
So your first job ever was after high school.
Yes.
So that's interesting. So would you say you just kind of said it. You were spoiled growing up where you didn't even have to work. So did you get like an allowance growing up?
I wanted to work.
You wanted to work?
I wanted to work, but my father said, you have plenty of time to work, like, when you're grown.
So did your parents just give you money?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. Because like I knew one teacher who his daughter was in high school at the same time as us, same age, but a different school.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, my daughter doesn't work. I give her this is back in the 90s. I give her $300 a month. She uses it however she wants. She knows not to ask me for another dime. And she tries to save it for the whole month, but if she doesn't, it's on her. Like, did you get something like that? Or nah, just random money when you want it?
Yeah, just like random money. Like, my mother would leave me, like, between, like, $5 and $10 a day, I guess, for lunch.
Okay.
Lunch was, like, $1 for a slice of pizza.
Right.
And, like, most times I didn't even, eat it. We had, like, microwaves, so I would, like, take, like, a microwave meal from home.
So by the end of the week, you had, like, $50.
And I would save my money.
Right.
Right. In high school, I was a really good saver, so I would, like, save my money for things that I wanted.
Okay.
But she still brought me whatever I wanted, too.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Did you want a car in high school?
I did not want a car in
You
high
didn't
school.
want a car.
No.
So you're from the city where you guys catch the train everywhere and the bus.
So at one point I wanted a car, right? But I had a cousin who, right when I was turning 16, was in a bad car accident.
Okay.
And he passed away.
Ooh, sorry to hear that.
So that kind of deterred me from driving for a long time.
Got it.
But
With
I
that,
saved my money for other things, clothes. You know what I mean?
right?
Yeah. Save my money.
Did you have a spot that you like to go shopping? Like I give you $300 and you're 17. What's your go-to spot to go get what you want?
17?
Yeah.
I was going to Saks.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And my mother, like I said, she brought me whatever I wanted. So in like high school, I had like Fendi shoes, I had like Versace glasses,
Okay.
Coogee sweaters, like whatever the end thing was.
Like a walk-in Target for dudes who want to snatch something.
Exactly.
Got it.
I wore the wigs, you know, like Lil' Kim wigs, like.
Really?
Yeah, like that's what I thought. That's what I
thought was fly.
That's what I thought was fly.
So you got whatever you wanted, basically. Interesting. So with that being said, let me ask you this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst ever and 10 being the best possible, how would you personally rate your childhood?
I'm going to say I would rate it, I would give it a 5.
A 5, okay.
Yes.
What would have had to happen, or what conditions would have needed to be met for you to say like 6 or 7?
So, number one, I think that the way my household was, right? Just a better environment as far as my mother and father was concerned.
Okay.
Because like I said, my father was like disrespectful with the women, so they would be calling the house and hanging up, and it's like an incident when he brought one there during a party, and so it was a whole lot of things that happened as far as my parents' relationship goes that make me that would have made it better. Okay. If my mother had have been strong enough to just leave, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I think that kind of would have made it a little better.
Do you feel like witnessing that dynamic between your parents affected your relationships with men as you got older?
Oh, definitely.
How so?
Definitely. I never really wanted to settle down. Especially as I got older, like as soon as somebody did something I didn't like, I was out.
Okay.
Or I just kept a constant rotation, right? So I wouldn't get hurt.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Kind of, I do it first before you do it to me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Do you have a worst childhood day or moment or time period that you would like to forever forget and erase from happening?
My father was diagnosed with colon cancer when I was 9.
Wow.
And that, I'm going to say it was the day that he got diagnosed. I can't say for sure, right?
Okay.
But I remember going in the kitchen and seeing my mother like crying, like uncontrollably, and I knew something was wrong.
Okay.
And from that day, for like the period of like maybe a year or so, it was just constant sadness, right?
Okay.
He survived.
Right.
But just the multiple surgeries and all of that took a toll on me. You know, my dad's in the hospital for long periods of time. I'm seeing him sick. And I remember it was this lady's house on the block that I would go to when my mom would be at the hospital with him. It was like she had some grandkids there. And they were like, well, that's why your dad is sick. And I remember saying, like, no, he's not sick anymore. I mean, but he was. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, like, as a child, like, that really takes a toll on you.
Okay,
you know?
Got it.
So that was a really tough time.
Okay, got it. Let's flip it. Do you have a favorite childhood day or time period that if you could go back to it, you would?
Not necessarily. Like,
Okay.
other than that, everything was pretty, it was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Okay. We'll take that. So, if you haven't already said it, do you feel like there's any events that you feel occurred in your childhood that affected your life forever, whether negatively or positively?
Um, I don't know. Definitely my parents' relationship had a big impact on my life, and it still does in the way I maneuver through relationships with men. Um, but that also made me stronger, if that makes sense.
Care to elaborate a little bit?
Um,
Example.
so watching my mother, um, even though we were, even though my father was there,
Right.
sometimes he was in and out. He'd stay gone for a few days, come back, whatever. She kind of handled it like a single mom. Do you know what I mean? Getting everything done. She got everything done. So that's kind of my mentality now. It made me a little stronger. Like I'm going to get it done whether you're here or not.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So quick question. So you wound up having kids. How many do you have?
I have two.
Okay. What are their age ranges?
3 and 5.
3 and 5.
2 and 5. Whew, 2 and 5.
Got it.
Oh,
2 and 5.
5.
2 and 5. These are the years where you're constantly like can't slack off for a second because they're doing stuff. If we take your 5-year-old right now, put your 5-year-old child inside your body when you were 5, would they be able to handle it?
What? He would fail. Fail. Oh.
Would your son be able to?
He would fail.
Got it.
Now he may think he can
Right.
maneuver. What? No.
Absolutely not. Okay.
I mean, I take him everywhere.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, at 5 years old, I could go to the corner store. He can't go to the corner store like by himself. I don't even think he can cross the street by himself.
Right.
Like, he doesn't
right.
do anything.
Got it. What's your overall perception of how your childhood affected your life? Like, who are you today? Who is the Candie, the woman that you became?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the things that you do now, like, how do you feel that your childhood molded you into this person that you are? Overall, like everything. Growing up in West Philly, in the hood, the things that you witnessed with your parents, the things that you personally experienced out in these streets, having an older brother so much older than you were, and basically semi being the only child. Like, how do all these experiences mold you into the woman you are today?
It made me tough. Growing up, just seeing it made me tough, and it also made me kind of like slick with things, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Right. I can maneuver. Right. You can put me in a room of people, and I can maneuver through the room. I can. It made me tough.
Okay.
It made me tough.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Got it. And it sounds like you're like, I'm able to assimilate.
I can assimilate.
You can be in the hood, you can be in a corporate setting, just like that with a snap.
I can maneuver.
Got it.
But I will say this: I am one of these people who are, you're not hood enough for the hood, and you're not,
corporate enough
for corporate, right? So you're kind of like in the middle, right? So if it's too hood, I may be like, and if it's too corporate, I may be like, oh.
So it's levels of hood though. Like, it's people who are just flat out ghetto, and then you got the girls like you who went to school, who live in the hood,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily outside every day, but you guys know how to maneuver and basically in and out the house. Like, were you the girl that you rarely see on the block? Like, you gotta see Candie going to school, leaving the house to see her.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this, right? So, in the hood is all the same, right? So you have people who are there, who are putting on a facade, right? And then you have people who don't put on a facade. Like growing up in my house, it was a lot of facades.
Okay.
You know, we were made to think that, you know, we're better than this person or that person, but when it comes down to it, you're all the same. You know, my mother had a great job, but she was still robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even with my dad there, you know, my brother's 14 years older than me, and we came up thinking that, you know, we had this great family dynamic with the mother and the father, you know, parents married, and, you know, same mother, same father. A little bit before my dad dies, he tells my brother that, like, hey, I'm not your biological father. So it was like, oh, well, like,
Right.
we're, you know, just
Right.
like everybody else. We have, you know, I don't, you say it's different levels, but I think it's deep down, it's all the same. It's just the facade that every family puts up a different facade, right?
Right.
But different families, same stories. That's how I feel.
So with that being said, I want you to give some advice to blank-year-old Candie. So being the woman who you are today, the college-educated woman that you became. What college did you go to, by the way?
North Carolina A&T Aggie Pride.
Nice. So being the A&T alum who you are today, this West Philly girl that you grew up as and are still, right?
Mm-hmm.
The woman that you became, everything that you experienced in your house, everything you know today, give some advice to blank-year-old Candie. You pick the age. Everything you know today, you pick the age. What would you say to her, and how old would she be?
I would go back to elementary school Candie.
Okay, what age? 11?
I'm going to say between 8, 9, 8, and 10.
Okay, let's go. 10-year-old Candie, what would you say to her?
You are just as good as everyone else in the room. And when I say that, it's, you know, sometimes I would like doubt myself, right? But when you know that you're on the same, when I think back, it's like, you know, we're all on the same playing field. Do you know what I mean? You just have to go out, make your way, and get it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Candie.
You're welcome.